right.
Oh,
You started off, Evan.
okay. So coming up here, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard any percent by Captain Ezekiel. We do have a bid war going for this game. It is to save Mia or Zoe at the end of the game. Currently, Mia, I believe, is winning by $15. If you want to save Zoe, then we need to get donations in for that. Take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yep, my name is Captain Ezekiel. This is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I ran this game about 3 times for Midwest Beat Fest now. It's pretty cool every time. Um, I'm the former record holder for this game and currently hold second place on it. This game is really fun, really spooky. If you're easily scared, I don't care. You're going to get scared. And we are going to see some cool stuff in this game, and I hope you're ready for it. If you're ready for me to count down, I can do that.
I believe we are ready to go whenever.
All right. Timer in 3, 2, 1, go. So, like I said, this is the new game plus easy category. What this means is that we're obviously playing on the easy difficulty. We are also using new game plus items, which include like the Albert, the circular saw, the infinite ammo, walking shoes, all that cool stuff. One thing you'll see, it's kind of notorious for this game, is unskippable cutscenes. This game is an hour and a half-ish speed run. There's a bit of it that is cutscenes, like this one here. This is a 3-minute and 20-second cutscene, essentially. The premise of the game is this is Mia. Mia Winters is the wife of Ethan Winters, and we're going. She went MIA 3 years ago. Well, there's no pun intended there, but she went MIA 3 years ago, and now Ethan gets a suspicious email to go and save her. We go pick her up from Dolby, Louisiana. Not a real place, by the way, even though it sounds like a real place. And that's basically how the story starts, right? Ethan goes and drives all the way to Dolby, Louisiana to pick up his wife. So, and that's all this whole cutscene explains, basically, is that this is Mia and she goofed. You'll also notice the game's in Japanese. Japanese saves is second off of English. That's why we use it. And it's better to have it in Japanese for marathon purposes because there is a lot of cursing in this game that the only way you see it is through the text dialogues. So yeah, like I said, just the cutscene here while we wait to drive all the way out to Dolby, Louisiana. There's a couple things about this game you'll notice, and I'll kind of just cover them now. You'll see me do a lot of FPS manipulation, inventory management, which I'll explain as we start the game. There's an out of bounds skip. There is a couple different like sequence skips, not very many. The Resident Evil 7 was designed very well. Same with Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake. Everything that's on the Resident Evil engine, the new one. They're designed really well, which means everything in terms of like processes and like scripts and things you have to do, triggers to get through the game are all pretty like concrete. So that's why we don't have very many like hard skips in the game. But we're coming up now, me being able to finally actually control Ethan, and we're gonna go into what is called Guest House, which is notoriously probably the least. It's an intro to the game, but it's 15 minutes, and it's kind of there's a couple skips in it that like if you're like a world record pace runner, it's really a pain if you mess them up. So basically, I'm just running through the woods here to get to Guest House. There's not much about this little dash except I'm just trying to cut corners cleanly and not run into any of the invisible walls that are behind this grass here. We'll cut left. And there's the best antagonist in any RE game, I think, in my opinion, which is Jack Baker. You'll see him here in like half a second, just briefly, but you'll see him a lot more later in the game. Jack is a very cool character. But he slows us down here pretty dramatically. We kind of have to waddle to get past him. There is a skip that can happen there that's kind of random, where like you'll not be slow for some reason and you'll just run right past him. It actually saves a considerable amount of time. Crouch into this. Alright. Now we're going to be coming up on Guest House. So I'm going to be doing a retry. PC has about, I think it's 9 or 7, I forget the number, where we retry in the game in order for speed purposes. This one specifically will reset my movement speed value to what it is right now, because when I get into the house, it slows down. I don't know why this works, but there's 2 of them in Guest House that do this. And we'll see it with the check mark, or the checkpoint loading at the top. Means I can retry. Now we're just as fast as we were outside, as opposed to being like super slowed down here inside. And we're also going to do a frame rate change here. When I say frame rate manipulation, it's mostly I'm changing my frame rate down to 30 to let me squeeze past stuff a lot. And you'll see that here in a second. If we didn't do that, it's like it takes like a solid 2 seconds to get. It's crazy actually. It takes like 2 seconds to get through that hole because Ethan's just so wide apparently. You just get stuck in there. And now we're falling down the ladder. A lot of this broken ladder stuff gets explained in like the demo tape. If you ever played the demo for this game, it kind of covered all of this, but there's a tape you can use to like see how all this all started in terms of like Clancy and Andre and stuff, but we're not going to do any of that because we don't need to. Now there's a jump scare that happens here that we won't get hit by because it's kind of a weird way you can just avoid it. They didn't really think about this when they were designing the game. But Andre, I believe, or Clancy, no, it's Andre. Andre's here in the water up ahead. He's supposed to pop out of the water and scare us. But it turns out if you just don't look at it, you can't get scared. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to strafe against this wall and not look ahead. Will her bubbles pop up behind me? And we didn't get jump scared. Why that works is kind of crazy. And now we found Mia. Crazy. Job done, right? We can just leave, get the bolt cutters. Usually you'd think, right? Like you found what you were here for. Let's just go home. But it's not. It's gonna happen. I guess we have to follow Mia. This is why a lot of people don't like Guest House, and I'm one of those people. Yeah, it's because Mia basically. This is an auto scroller, and it's not just any like basic game auto scroller where you're kind of just hanging out for a couple of seconds. We were walking behind Mia here for about 3 minutes. You really get our steps in when you play as Ethan.
Wait, auto scrollers? That sounds like a good time for donations.
It's an absolutely perfect time for donations.
Wonderful. So we got ourselves a $30 anonymous donation. Thank you very much. As well as a $50 donation from Rylabelle with the comment, smile. And a $1 donation from our own Schmumbler with no comment. Thank you, folks. And with that, Zoe has pulled ahead of Mia for being saved at the end of this run. So if you want to see Mia get saved, well, there are options.
There are options. Saving Zoe does add a minute to the game because you do transition the game to a non-canon ending. But I'm down for it. Hey, I like Zoe more than Mia myself. If I could save Zoe every run and not lose a minute, trust me, I would. One thing I'll point out now is I picked up the bolt cutter. So there's a very big important thing in Resident Evil 7 and also in 2 Remake and 3 Remake because they use the same engines, is inventory management. It's important, and RE7 is unique in this way where I can leave my cursor at a place in the inventory and it'll still be there when I open up the inventory, even when I'm going to use items. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my cursor in the furthest point of this bolt cutters because I still have to use them one more time. But then I also have to pick up another item and use that immediately after. So I want to make sure my inventory is in a place where I can transition quickly enough to use items. One bad part about Resident Evil 7 that I really don't like is if you accidentally use the incorrect item on something, the game will pause for like 5 seconds so you can sit there and think about what you've done apparently, and then you have to wait to use your next item. Not great if you ask me, but that's why we practiced this and we routed this and we worked really hard to make sure the inventory is always correct. And so you'll see me moving my cursor around in there a lot on downtime. It's good in this game as compared to the others because the game does not pause when you open up your inventory. It's not like that pseudo pause where if you open your inventory, the timer in the game is still running, but everything stops, which I don't really like. So yeah, that's how that works. Now we're finally done with most of the auto scroller. Basically what happens here is Mia just kind of walks around and hangs out and talks about stuff that you're supposed to listen to, but we're not going to listen to her because, come on, who cares about that? So we're going to stand right here against this wall, and I'm going to position my camera a bit to the left. What I'm doing is waiting for Mia to stop talking in there and get kidnapped so we can just go with the next part of the game. And this is an optimal spot to stand where you can't be too close to her and you can't be looking at her. This will let me zoom out of here the second she gets kidnapped. Alright, she gets kidnapped. Woo! Finally. Go up these stairs. That's where the game gets real creepy. We have to trigger Mia to come up the stairs. The easy way to do it is obviously just by walking in a bathroom and walking out of the bathroom. And here she is down the stairs. Alright, Mia, this is where we actually get to hit and do damage and do stuff. So, this little sequence here, Mia just attacks you. The idea is you don't hit her back. You don't struggle. You just let her hit you here so you can get through it faster. We're going to run at her, make her fight us. It's just a faster way to do things. Alright. Just going to run at her. So now there's a couple things about this. Specifically about this part of the game. There's called Mia 1 and Mia 2. So Mia 1 is this first Mia boss fight. Mia 2 is the second Mia boss fight right at the end of Guest House. What we want is we want to be able to hit Mia one time on both fights and she dies. The first one's a lot harder to do. The second one is pretty, I'm not going to say easier, but it's just as important, but a little bit more forgiving. But this one's a little bit harder. So Mia's going to knock herself out and we got to wake her up. The only way to wake her up is standing above her. She hits her head up against the wall and ruins the paint job of this glorious house. This game is a little brutal, by the way, in case you didn't catch on yet. So I need to move close to Mia, but not too close. This is kind of weird. So I think that should be good. Now, if I'm in the right spot, she'll wake up soon. If I'm too close, I'll back up. No, we're good. She's awake now. And now we get to start the first Mia 1 fight, which, if I'm lucky, I'll hit her once, at most twice, and she'll die. No, we got to do it. It isn't too bad. It loses like maybe 2 seconds, I think, to not get the one hit, but that one's a little bit harder because she stands in such an awkward spot. There's another one hit which is just as important, but we'll have here in a second. Probably like a couple minutes yet. But we get to meet Zoe via phone call now. Zoe is the best character in the entire game in terms of like how helpful she is. Which it blows my mind. Zoe literally carries you through this whole game. And you have the audacity to pick Mia at the end of it. That's insane. She tells us to go to the attic. We're like, okay. The only way you can get to the attic is by putting a fuse and doing Resident Evil stuff. So we're going to pick up this axe. And we're going to go on the second retry here right after the store. This makes us faster. We always want to be fast. Alright, now we're going to grab a fuse. You'll see me get in front of stuff, like directly in front of stuff before I use items on it, so that I can cut the animation down. It's like a small optimization you'll see a lot of runners do if you watch runners play this game. Just try to get in front of stuff before you use it, so you can not spend time in an animation. Here's me again. Spooky. Oh, one thing I should mention is we are playing on the censored version of the game. So the censored version of the game is different from the Steam version because this is the Japanese specific version. It saves about 25 seconds based on some censoring in the game. Specifically in the fight, it's called Jack 2, and then when we get the snake key later in the game. And also right here, this is supposed to be a screwdriver she's stabbing you in your hand. But actually we get a little gardening pitchfork in the wrist. And she wants to cut her hand off. But thankfully in the censored version of the game, can't see the hand get cut off. The hand just looks super strange in this version. It doesn't make any sense. Because the hand's not supposed to be there. I'm pretty sure Capcom threw this together really lazily. You can see the animations just don't make sense on the hand. And now we're coming up on Mia 2. Now, this is the end of Guest House, which means we actually get to start playing Resident Evil 7 after this. after this fight, we want to hit her one time and she dies. That is the bar none best that we can do, and it's optimal. Every hit afterwards takes an extra second. We want her dead in one. So I'm going to hopefully get that here in a second. So just gonna climb up the ladder and bring her down. And I'm gonna try and get this hit here. Line myself up. Just like that. That's the Mia one hit. That can be tricky sometimes because she has to, like, you kind of have to wait a little bit before you go for the swing because she does have some iframes when she comes down. You can't be underneath her when she drops or else she'll land on you and she'll hit you, and that's also not fun, but we did it, so that's great. And now we're going to walk around and wait for Dad to come welcome us to the family. So if you have donations, please feel free to read them because we have another cutscene.
I do. I have a $25 anonymous donation. Jeez, I just can't get those words in the right order today. It says, the comment is, good luck on your run, Schmumbler. That is the run I believe is coming later on this evening. As well, if you would like to put in for the Silent Hill Homecoming costume choice, we currently have Invisible winning with $26 and no other donations for anything else. We don't even want to be able to see the main character of the game. That's what I get from this. That seems kind of strange.
Cool. So now we get to meet the Baker family. This Resident Evil 7 is by far the best Resident Evil game if you ask me in terms of how the story was told and how the characters were developed. The Baker family is amazing. So that's Zoe. We only briefly see her. She staples our hand back on, but we never lost our hand, so she just stapled us for no reason. Thanks, Zoe. And now we get to see the members of the family. So there's 3, and we interact with all of them. But they're all fun, and they're all great in their own way. And you're going to love them, especially if you're squeamish. So this is dinner time. We're eating, I can only assume, is bugs and intestines. But this is Lucas. We don't talk about Grandma. That's Lucas. Lucas is the son. That's Jack Baker. We met him. And that's Marguerite. That's the wife and the mom. So we get to have fun with all these guys during this game. And Jack Baker specifically is a pain point in the game because he is spooky. Cuts his own son's arm off. That's not cool. But it's censored, so no arm's missing. They're offended because I'm not eating the food. And if you're really squeamish, you're not gonna like this. The way this whole cutscene goes down. I'm not gonna look away because that would just be so lame. Marguerite's not happy with it. Wholesome family dinner. Could you imagine getting invited to dinner like this and you spit out the food? How rude. This is my favorite part. This game in VR is a trip, by the way. Saved by the Bell. Alright, now we're coming up on our first interaction. Now we're starting the main event, which is the house. And Jack Baker. So there's a skip I could potentially get coming up here, but Jack's going to be in the hallway. The idea is we need to get a key and get around Jack and get to a door and then get to a hatch. There's a potential skip called the wall skip that I'll talk about if I get it, but I'm going to focus on trying to get around Jack without getting smacked around too much because he can be a pain. Alright, we'll turn the corner and we'll find Jack. Gotta grab it, it's not good. Alright, we need to not let Jack hurt us. Alright. Getting hit by Jack there kind of sucks, but we didn't get too stuck, so I'm not really going to complain about it, to be honest. Trigger that. Sometimes Jack can teleport behind you, and I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't do that. If you're looking away from Jack during that part, he'll chase after you really, like inhumanly fast. It's weird. But yeah, that went pretty well for the most part. What we like to do is grab it and not have Jack touch us, and then we can trigger the door, and then we can do a little skip in the hallway called wall skip. But unfortunately, we didn't get to do that, but that's alright. Now we're in the laundry room. We have to run out of the room to trigger the phone call. And then after this phone call, we get all of our really cool New Game Plus items. And then after we get our New Game Plus items, we'll be going into another cutscene where we get to meet the shortest lived character in the game. Second shortest lived. Probably the shortest lived characters in the game. The deputy. Alright, we got all these cool new fancy items now. We got a saw, we got an Albert, we got infinite ammo. Super fun. And this is the deputy. So if you have any donations, you can feel free to read some. Otherwise, we have a nice little conversation here.
Conveniently, we just got another donation from EBD03 donates $10 with the comment, glad to see gamers come together in these really weird times to help others. You guys are doing good. I'd like to think we're doing some good.
We're definitely doing some good. You guys are doing great. The Midwest Speed Fest stuff, guys, by the way, if you've ever been to one in person when this all kind of blows over, you should go because they're amazing. A lot of really nice people. Gooby, Helix, and all them really put on a great event. So that's why I've done it 4 times now. You should definitely attend one because they're fun.
Highly recommend the in-person events.
Be warned, though, if you are running on stage, there is a good to fair chance you get hit by a plush Kirby against your will. It's just how it works.
Recently it's more been plush baguettes, not Kirby's.
Oh, baguettes.
They're a lot less aerodynamic.
Are they gluten-free at least?
They're plush, so probably.
Alright, the cop does something good for us and gives us a knife, which is what we need, even though we asked for a gun. I guess we'll take a knife. So we're coming up on the first actual boss fight of the game called Jack 1. What I want to do is we're going to do some damage to Jack, and we're going to force him to get into his car, and then we're going to shoot him in his car and kill him. Sounds brutal, I know, but that's just what we're doing. I need to do a certain amount of damage to Jack, and I'm going to bait him around that grate there on the right, and hit a shot and force him into his car. That's ideally what we want this to go. There is a potential of a soft lock that happens randomly. If it does, I'll have to retry it. It's random. There's not much we can do about it. It's not a high chance it'll happen, but it does happen when it matters. Usually when I'm like going for PVs and stuff. So we'll see. We just get Jack to that damage threshold. All right. Shoot Jack a couple times. Now he's getting into his car. Organize our inventory. We're gonna hit a pretty precise shot here. Alright. And that's Jack 1. That's how crazy quick that fight is. And we're just gonna stand right here because that car is gonna explode soon, obviously, because it's on fire. And so is Jack, by the way. Just gonna put him down on the ground a couple times, just to stop him from getting too close to us. Alright. Very quick fight. Jack 1 is a pushover. Most of the fights are not too bad. Some of them are kind of difficult in terms of like how scary they can be if you mess it up. But this one was not bad. Pick up the gun. Jack, don't. This part is real fun. Censored out so it looks a lot better, but still kind of cringy. Alright, now we're going to grab the ox statue. Basically, we flip it around and twist a little knob on it so that we can pull this while that's opening, and then we get to grab it like as soon as we're pulling it. Great. Now we're going to do the out of bounds. So Resident Evil 7, a couple months ago, actually it's probably been longer than a couple months ago, I'm just getting old. Somewhere within the last year, an out of bounds was discovered for this game, where we can have Jack, we can actually manipulate Jack to push us out of bounds, and we can get the red key card faster. The game does not like this, because the game is designed to avoid skipping triggers like that. So we're going to try and go out of bounds, but we still have to hit a trigger later in the game to compensate for it. But scary part about going out of bounds in this game is you can sometimes accidentally fall inbounds in the incorrect spot, and your character will bug out and like float in air and stuff like that. I'm only warning you of that because I was practicing it earlier, and it did happen a couple times, so let's hope that doesn't happen. So we're gonna grab this. Oh, I forget to close the door. It was bad, man. And so I'm gonna start this basically. And the way it works is we're gonna manipulate Jack's health, the way he moves, and where we're taking him, and all that fun stuff. You'll see how I do that here. So the way I set it up is I'm using non-enhanced ammo, obviously, so I don't want to kill Jack, right? If we kill Jack, it's not going to work, because Jack can die here, sort of. So I'm just going to shoot Jack in the leg, slow him down a bit so I can get away from him. That's not a good sign, but we'll see. Jack fell down a little early, but that's okay. I don't think he's going to go too far. We need Jack to follow us. Alright. That's unlucky, he got knocked down, but it's okay. As long as he doesn't die, that's what's important. We're going to hit this shadow puzzle. Jack's going to be a little slow coming out of this hallway here. But the idea is we don't want Jack dead, and he's not dead, so that's always good. And we can't have Jack too close to us, so we can't use that puzzle. I'm going to organize my inventory while we wait for Jack to take the sweet time getting out here. I want Jack's attention, so that's why you see me shoot around all the time, is because I want Jack to follow me. We're going to wait for him to come up these stairs. Jack's going to buckle. We're going to switch to 30 frames so we can get by him a little bit faster. Kind of on a time budget here because he's going to activate here. So we're going to line ourselves up. And we're out of bounds. Resident Evil games don't typically have out of bounds, but here we are. And now I need to not mess up going back inbounds because that's kind of yikes. So we're going to scoot around here and we're going to slide in at an angle. Ooh, that was close. Okay, we got it. Now we're back in bounds and we're under the stairs. We shouldn't be here until later, but here we are. Hit this little puzzle. Grab this key. Alright, and now we're coming up on the second Jack fight already, which is Jack 2. Jack 2 can also be pretty easy to a degree. He's not too complicated in what he can do, but if you miss position, it can kind of throw the fight off. What we don't want in this fight is we don't want Jack to grab us instantly. If Jack grabs us instantly, we lose like 3 seconds, but it's not the end of the world. This is where Sarah D saves so much time. It's like 12 seconds or something, or 15 seconds because of the way the fight ends. But I'm going to be a little quiet while I just focus on doing this fight because I do want to make sure I get it. Got the shot. We dodged the iframes, which is good. Organize the inventory. Got the chainsaw. The last part's pretty easy. Alright, that was Jack 2. Jack 2 is a pushover and he's really fast. On Sarah D, on the non-censored version of the game, when you kill Jack, he gets up and walks around as a half torso, and you have to wait for that to actually fall down before you can open the door. But on Sarah D, since dismemberment's not like allowed, they just let him die right away, and then you save that time. Pretty straightforward fight. That went pretty well because I didn't get grabbed, so we take those. And that's it for the main house, really. Now we're going to get the Scorpion Key. Yes? Scorpion Key? Yeah, Scorpion Key. I remembered. And we're going to go out to Marguerite. Now, I'm going to warn you. If you don't like bugs, you're going to love the next section of the game, by the way. We'll have another cutscene coming up here in a little bit, and then we can do more donations then if there are any. I'll make sure that you know what that is, but it should be coming up in just a few minutes here. And we get to run into Grandma here. Grandma's right next to us. We don't care about Grandma. Bye, Grandma. Now we have a phone call to trigger here. It's kind of weird, but we're gonna run in and run out. All right, now we got another phone call. So if there's any donations, please feel free to read.
We do. We have a donation from our very own Yandu Poppins, y'all. $40 saying Mia must live. And of course, you know, now we have Mia pulling ahead of Zoe by $5 whole. Wait, I thought we liked Zoe better.
We do like Zoe better than Mia, but it's about the time.
Oh. Save the frames.
Yeah.
Kill the Zoe?
Save the frames, kill the Zoe. A noble sacrifice. I'm surprised that report is going as high as it is. That's actually so hype. Keep it coming, guys. Alright, so basically we get this call here from Zoe, and she's like, hey, good job. You didn't die. That's impressive. Also, look out for my mom. So the old house is entirely different from the main house. There's a lot of different stuff going on in there, like bugs. So pretty much gonna be navigating around this house, shooting some nests and doing some small puzzles. There's one important skip in this old house called the lantern skip, which is that's a pretty cool one. So hopefully we get that. I usually get it, obviously, but it can be hard sometimes. So shoot this. Take out those nests. They usually doesn't go that well for me, so that's pretty PogChamp. Grab this shadow puzzle piece. Now we get to meet Marge with her potty mouth. She's literally the worst potty mouth in any Resident Evil game. Spiders on the door. So what we're gonna do, we need to get these spiders out the door, but there's an interaction where if you change your frame rate to 30, the spiders fly so much faster. And the door just opens. I don't know why that works. But I like to pretend like I know how it works so people think I'm smart. So now we're gonna do the shadow puzzle. Oops. Messed that one up a little bit. The shadow puzzles also always start in the same place every time. That's why there's like a method for each one. That one I kind of messed up a little bit, but it's okay. More bugs. Do you guys like centipedes, millipedes? You're about to see something. Now imagine playing this in VR. Fun fact, Capcom also released a scented candle for Resident Evil 7. It smells like a gym, basically. But that's what it is. It's a scented candle that lets you really feel the game when you play it, right? Like you get the big whiff of what the house smells like. It's amazing. Now, it wouldn't be a Resident Evil game, by the way, without a crank. Every single one has a crank. Now we're going to go get the key that we want. And we're basically going to be squeezing by Marge here in a second. So you'll see me like take some damage from some bugs in a moment so I can avoid touching Marguerite. We don't want to get too close to Marguerite or else she will make our lives painful. We don't want that. Alright, we got her around her. If Marge catches you there, she's kind of blind, but if she catches you there, she'll send bugs after you and you'll take a lot of damage and it's not fun. Always be cranking. Alright. Grab the key that we want here. These bugs like to fly in front of you, so I'm just they like to hit you too sometimes. They're very persistent. They won't they won't go away sometimes. Alright, there we go. Alright, now we're coming up on Marge 1. Marge 1 is like a mini boss fight. She's super pushover, but if you mess it up, it can be a big time loss if you're like speedrunning through crazy times. So the idea is we want to shoot Marguerite 1 time with the Albert, 3 times with the G17. Now there's this thing called quick shooting with the G17 where you switch from aiming down sight and hip firing a whole bunch. And that's what we're doing here. Then she dies. Super fast. reason that fight can be scary sometimes is if you mess it up, she'll fall backwards and she'll like hide for a while. It's not fun. Alright, now we're coming up on the lantern skip. Now the lantern skip, basically the way it works is after this phone call, you're supposed to go outside of this room, look down the hole, and be like, I can't go down. And then you actually know what you're supposed to do up here is go check upstairs, and you'll see an empty lantern slot. You'd be like, who has a lantern? Margarita has a lantern. So you'd run back down, you'd see her transform into this monstrosity and take her lantern, and then you would jump down to the hole and chase her. We're not going to do any of that, except for the last part. What we're going to do is we're going to go outside this room right away. We're going to look up at the ceiling at a specific spot to trigger the lantern trigger, I guess, and try to jump down the hole, avoiding a certain path so that we can get down and land. So we'll see if we can get it. Kind of too far to the right there. Still got the partial lantern skip, but the idea is we fall down there and we land on the ground, and then we avoid that. You still save time doing it in this method from like the original method, obviously, but it's you lose like 4 to 5 seconds by falling like that, which is no big deal. So now we're coming up on the Marge fight, Marge 2. So this is the actual Marge boss fight. This one has a couple certain methods to it. I have my own method that I use, which is a little bit different than the current record holders method, but they're ideally the same. So we need to, Marge is gonna pop out of a window, and we got to do a bunch of damage to her, and then we got to kill Marge out of one of the holes in the ground here. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to stare at the ceiling to force Marge to spawn here. That was actually scary. She took a long time to spawn. Do some damage, let her jump back. So I want her to scream, and then we can saw her again, and she's dead. See, that fight can be pretty easy if you're like really used to it, but it can be very bad if you mess something up. So that's March 2. Very spooky fight. If you're not used to it, if like it's your first time playing, that fight's terrifying. Get her lantern, we need that. Somebody walking for a little bit. If there are any donations, you feel free to read any.
I don't know about you, the rest of the people in chat, but all of these fights are freaking terrifying. But we do have a $20 anonymous donation. Thank you very much, saying canon compliance is for nerds in all caps. And
True.
with that, we have yet more money going towards the Save Zoe or Mia. Zoe is now ahead $80 to $65. Still very close.
That's crazy, guys. Keep it coming. That's one more minute of Resident Evil 7 you'll see if Zoe wins, by the way. One whole minute. Alright, we got the lantern. We're going to go trigger the lantern on this. Now, this is supposed to be, on your first playthrough, this is probably like the scariest part of the game. In terms of like the atmosphere. Because you're walking through like a child's bedroom area that's just all totally abandoned, where they have a body here. It's kind of crazy and creepy. But we're walking by everything. We don't really care about everything that's happening, but everything here is super spooky on your playthrough, like you're playing normally. Where we're getting the D-Series arm, and we're going to rip it off of a corpse. This sounds brutal, but that's exactly what we're doing. And we're coming up on our next retry we're going to do here to force a molded that's outside of the room to spawn, because he's kind of a pain. And if he doesn't spawn, it's like it takes forever to spawn and kill. It's not fun. So we're going to force that to happen by retrying right out here. That guy. Moldeds typically die with one shots to the head. Usually. Now, a bunch of molded are going to attack us, but we don't really care. We can just run around all the way. Run away from all of them, actually. But we can't get cheap shotted, rather. Cheap shotting in this game is a thing Molded can do, where they will, like, Molded have attack animations that are like super long most of the time. You can just avoid all of it. There is something they can do where they just cheap shot you, where they just hit you instantly. Like, they just quick attack you, and you don't really get to do anything about it because it's super fast and just hits you, and there's no animation to it really. Not really too detrimental and easy, but there's a version of this game called Madhouse, where the damage is crazy high. cheap shotting can just murder your run. So thankfully we didn't have that, but that is something to look out for. So now we're done with Old House. March is dead. Woo, we did it. Now we're gonna go get the snake key, and this is the other instance of Sarah D, or the censored version of the game, where it saves us like a crap ton of time. Normally we would go into that camper there, by the way, to get the phone call. We can actually just love tap the side of it, and we'll get the trigger anyways. So now if I had not, actually we'll cover that in a second. Well, we'll cover like the red key card that I got earlier. We have to hit a trigger for that. That's upstairs. Usually I have to double dip into the basement here, which means I come in down here this time, and then I have to come in again. We only have to do it one time. But we do have to trigger a puzzle because we grabbed the red key card, so we're the hi grandma, bye grandma. And we're also coming up on another instance of PC privilege here, where there's a crawler that's going to jump out of this wall, but if I go into 30 FPS, we don't actually care that he's there at all. We're just going to skip right by him. And the key's right here. On non-censored version of the game, you'd have to reach down the cop's, like, it's kind of gruesome, but down his throat of his, like, cut off head to get that. I did get the fast door. That's okay. Doors are weird in this game. Sometimes they open fast, sometimes they open slow, sometimes it doesn't make any sense at all. Let's see if I can kill this moment here. Nice. That crawler's a pain, but getting that shot around the corner is kind of hard. It's good to kill him. You have to look out for like iframes and stuff all the time in this game. That's one of the big things about it, is there's like iframes on a bunch of stuff, so like timing is important. Alright. Now normally, if you're playing the game accurately, like just regularly, you have to go in here, you have to hit this clock puzzle and go down the bed that's about to move. All we have to do is hit the clock puzzle because we already have the red key card. If you don't hit this clock puzzle after grabbing the red key card, you don't get to finish the game because the game breaks and Lucas's room doesn't spawn the stuff it's supposed to, and it's not fun. Gonna get rid of my walking shoes since I don't need them anymore, and we need to make room for the blue key card. Now this is the last shadow puzzle of the game. This one's kind of finicky, but it's not too bad now. It used to be really bad, like how precise it has to be. Like you can be a couple pixels off on that thing and it just won't activate. Unlike the other two like you can have the puzzle the entire wrong direction. It'll just work for you. Alright, now we're moving up to the longest cutscene of the game, I think. About as long as the intro, the Lucas TV. Lucas TV is like, I'm gonna stare right at the screen because you guys are gonna love the Lucas TV. But there was one time in every marathon I talk about this. There was like on a Japanese stream. There was on PS4 in this version of the game. The TV simply got skipped entirely, where they sat down and the TV just exploded. That's an insane 3-minute time save. We have yet to ever like recreate it or like see how it's supposed to be. Are you kidding me? But yeah, the TV takes a while. You sit there and Lucas going crazy. You get to really learn a lot about Lucas here and see what he's all about. But Lucas is a very cool character. But we don't get the TV skip because we're not cool enough, I guess. But if there are any donations, you can feel free to read them.
I do have one more donation from our very own Bahamut X, who is currently running our restream. It's 20 minutes. Comment is personally, seeing more Resident Evil would be good, but this goes to Mia to hopefully spur yet more donations. That puts Mia ahead by a whole $5, and I believe we are closing that at about the 1 hour mark of the run.
Yeah, it's about 50 minutes. We're definitely getting close to it. Yep.
Okay, about 50 minutes then. I was off by 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. It's like 50 now. I actually don't know specifically, but it's something like that.
Okay. Well, you just let me know. That's all I need to know. Just so if you want to snipe it, you got to be ready.
Now, if you guys like having your fingernails, you're not going to like what Lucas does here. This is the best part about this. I would recommend looking away if you're really squeamish at stuff like this. It's so brutal. He's kind of crazy. Lucas is super crazy. Unfortunately, we don't actually get to fight or kill Lucas in the main version of the game. There is, however, free DLC called Not a Hero, where you get to play as Christopher Noodle Arms Redfield, because he's not as strong as he was in the other games. And it really jarred a lot of people. And you go and you find Lucas and you kill him, basically, is the idea there. Speaking of Not a Hero, if you want to run this game ever, or if you ever want to speedrun the DLCs, the RE7 Discord is doing a tournament soon for the DLC of this game, the Not a Hero. It's like a race, basically, a bracket. So if you're ever interested in that, you can hit that up. Our Discord's on like speedrun.com and stuff to like actually join in. This game's sick. The community is amazing. There are a lot of great people there. See, this cutscene takes forever, but now we're out of it. And now we're going through a bomb gauntlet. Now I have to hit a bunch of shots on some bombs to avoid taking damage to them and getting stuck on them. So I might be quiet while they do this just so I don't get distracted. Because they're kind of a pain. Alright. That's all the shootable bombs. It's not much, but getting hit by those bombs like really sucks. And we're gonna block this bomb coming up here. And that's the bombs. Alright. Now Lucas is gonna tell us we want this passcode to go in here. He gives us all these passcodes to use. Don't use any of them. We already know the passcode, but we can't enter it now. If we entered it now, the game will break and it'll change the passcode on us, and that's not good. Can't enter it in until we finish the fat molded fight. So we're gonna not do this. I have to put some items away. Only want New Game Plus items in my inventory here. Another retry. Keyboard ASMR. I used to have a much louder keyboard. Like a much, much louder keyboard. And I just recently got this new one. Oh, that was bad. Alright, no worries, I'm still healthy. I was supposed to shoot that bomb at an angle, but I thought I could do it from a different angle. And it did not work out for me. Don't try that at home, kids. Yeah, so basically the reason I put a bunch of stuff away is because Lucas does not want us having items in our inventory when we finish this fight and we try to go through the door. So I put everything away that wasn't a New Game Plus item, and the benefit of New Game Plus items, like the enhanced ammo, the walking shoes and stuff, is you can discard them from your inventory and they'll go straight back to the box, which is why we have that. So basically what I'm doing is we're going to put all these items away after this fight, and then we can just go straight to Lucas. So the Fat Molded isn't really a boss fight as much as it is just like an encounter of a new enemy. I'm going to shoot him 9 times as he's coming down this elevator here. That fight's a pushover. It's really easy. Now I'm going to discard my items on my inventory, but I'm going to do it in like a specific way so that we can set up for pulling items out of the box at the end of the game. Just like that, now we have no items in inventory. Now Lucas can't yell at us. And we're going to have to input the passcode, which is 1408 on the door. And we want diagonal key presses. Diagonal key presses skips some time loss if we do them correctly. Way easier on controller. That's a benefit of console over PC, but it's like one of the only benefits. Console runners in this game really get, they really drew the short straw. It's not fair, that's for sure. Now we get to do probably one of the most interesting and puzzle-oriented parts of the game, which is Lucas's puzzle room. It's actually really fun. Cool, got the diagonal presses. Now, if you ever watched the Saw series, this is going to remind you a lot of the Saw franchise. It's just a bunch of, like, puzzles. Now, there is a VHS tape earlier in the game that kind of shows you how this is all supposed to go, but we already know all the puzzles. We already know what to do, so we're not going to do that, tape. But this room is cool. Look at this guy. He's cool. Not clean toilet. Disgusting. Very fun. So the idea is we want to light this candle, put it on that cake, but there's water falling down from the sky there, so we need to get around it. light this candle. Give you some more keyboard ASMR here. Go into this room. We need to get a crank because it's Resident Evil, and we like cranks. This is 5 down or 5 up all the time to spell this word. Get the crank. Now this is another part where the animations come in clutch. So we're going to turn around this corner and try to get this very fast there. So that animation would be rough. You can actually lose like 2 seconds if you do that animation badly. Like if you try to put that on from too far of a distance, Ethan takes forever to get close to it. And now we can light this and put the candle on the cake. We did it. And Lucas also has a potty mouth. So what was supposed to happen is we were supposed to open up that barrel over there, and there's supposed to be oil everywhere, and that's supposed to explode and light us all on fire and have a not good time. You put the bomb in the room, but conveniently there's a hole in the wall. And that's basically the end of the Lucas part, right? The Lucas part is pretty straightforward once you know the puzzles. There's not really much to it. But now we're coming up on Jack 3. Now, Jack 3 is the last boss fight before we choose between me and Zoe. And I'll let you know when that's happening. But we gotta pull items out of the box. Gotta get the D-series head here, even though it's technically a torso with arms, but head, I guess.
You heard him. If we want one more minute of this terrifying game, you're running out of time for us to save Zoe.
I'm ready to walk across these crickety docks here. You really enjoy the scenery of Dolby, Louisiana if it were a real place. Basically, after we put this crank in, a bunch of mold are going to spawn. We can avoid most of them except for like 2 of them, which are over on that side we're going to run into here in a second. I want to kill this crawler molder that we're going to run into here in a minute. Hopefully with just 1 gunshot. There's this fellow. And now we're going to get the vaccine created by Zoe here. All the more reason to choose Zoe on your normal playthrough. She creates the vaccine. That's what's also messed up. She creates the cure, and if you choose me, you literally take her cure and use it on someone else. How messed up. But there's a time save here. There's a very strange one, and it's going to be weird to explain because it doesn't make any sense. But what we're going to do is we're just going to run out of this room, and we're going to run downstairs. Normally, you would just stand up there and wait for Zoe to finish making the serum. But we're going to come down here, high-five the item box, and run back upstairs. For some reason, this cuts the time down for her to make it by 3 seconds. Why? Couldn't tell you. But here we are. Now this is the Jack 3 fight. The idea is I want to pop all the eyes on Jack and kill him. So I'm going to be quiet during this because it is a precise shot I need to hit at the beginning. And I really want to be able to do this in the 1 cycle, which saves a lot of time. Good shot we want. Oh jeez. Alright, it got saved, we're fine. Right, and that's Jack 3. Now he's going to do another little tantrum here. There's a skip that can happen here where Jack just dies 5 seconds faster. I don't know why it happens. No one really knows what causes it. Alright. We have to wait to inject Jack. And as soon as we're done injecting Jack... well, actually, you got time to read a donation here if there are any more donations towards that goal at all.
We have one last donation towards Zoe and me. We have $10 from Anonymous for Zoe. Donating to this great cause. The OI Foundation is funding bone research for everybody. It's just a debilitating disease. You know, I think some of the skeletons in this game could use some help with their bones.
Sure. Does that put Zoe in the lead then?
That does put Zoe in the lead.
Okay. So we are going to save Zoe then. The thing with saving Zoe you need to know is this causes a non-canon ending. Yeah. So, saving Zoe, quote unquote. So the idea of saving them is now we have one thing left to inject one of them with. We could either save Mia, who is your wife, or you can save Zoe, who literally did everything in the world, by the way. So we're going to go after Zoe. Basically, Mia gets really upset about it. So the thing about saving Zoe is that it adds another boss fight into the game. That boss fight is Mia, so we have to kill Mia later. That's going to be fun. And we're also going up to the... We're no longer going to play as Ethan until the end of the game, so now we're going into the Mia part of the game where we play as Mia. One thing about this cutscene is it'd be different if you had Mia on. You would see exactly what happens with Zoe or Mia. But with Mia, basically, the Mia ending is they both live. Hooray. In this non-canon ending, they both do not live. Obviously, because I have a boss fight to kill Mia later, and you're about to see what happens to Zoe. That was a lot of donations for this bid war, way more than I expected. By the way, that's awesome.
We actually got a couple more last minute trying to snipe it, both ways, actually.
Did
John Dupoppins, y'all donated a total of $30 with the comments, Mia, save the frames, kill the Zoe, which was canceled out by another $20 anonymous donation with the comment, Zom. I'm not sure what Zom is. Is that something you would know?
No. Not quite.
Okay.
But Zoe won regardless, I suppose. Interesting. Okay, well, here we are. We saved Zoe. All for it to mean absolutely nothing. You played yourself. So, what happens when you save Zoe is, even with Mia here, Evie hijacks this little boat we're on. And it kind of does some stuff. You'll see here in a second. I don't have to explain it. Actually, you're about to see what happens. Zoe still dies. Feels bad, man. Evie's kind of crazy. Now, we wake up, and we're no longer playing as Ethan. We are now playing as Mia. Now, the Mia part of the game is an exciting one. In the past, the ship part of the game was considered the super boring, easy, walk through it, end of the game sort of thing. But for the better or for the worse, however you want to see it, there were some time saves that were discovered. Some very crucial skips in terms of speedrunning. Like, they save crazy amount of time. If you mess them up, you lose that time. So when you're like speedrunning this game, going for like record times, and you're going for like crazy pace, messing that up is it sucks. Can kind of ruin your pace. But hopefully we don't mess any of them up, and we get what's called the Allen 1, the Allen 2, and the molded elevator kill. All these, the one's more of an optimization, less a skip. But yeah, we hope we get all of them. Those are the hard ones once we get to the Mia tape. But up until then, we're kind of just walking through as Mia through this ship that is ruined out here in the bayou. And basically, what happens in this part of the game is it explains everything, right? Like hey, like WTF is going on here, mate? And basically, and I can TLDR it for you. Evie is a bioweapon that was developed by the Connections, and she was being transported on this ship. And Mia is an evil person. If you didn't know that or didn't catch on, Mia is a part of the bad guys. Mia is she's a part of the Connections, and there's another guy named Alan. We'll see him in a minute. They were transporting Evelyn, and Alan did something. Apparently, it's not explained, and Evie got out, and that's what caused all of this. But yeah, it's Mia's fault. I like to just say that all the time. By the way, it's Mia's fault. In case you're wondering. I'm gonna organize my inventory there. I'm coming up on another second to last retry. It's either second or third to last retry. No, yeah, third to last retry of the game coming up here. It was just a babysitting job, though. True. She says she was just babysitting. Not true. And this retry is kind of weird. We're going to do it while falling down this hole. It's so we can spawn at the bottom faster. And now we get to finally see Evelyn. That's her there. She's a little child. Kind of crazy. She got some killer boots, though. She's terrifying. Okay. We're getting closer to the tape part, which is where we get to actually do the skips. But this is mostly let's see, it's not an auto-scroller, but we're just running through everything here. There's not really much interaction to have here. There's a molded up, coming up, but we don't really have to like fight them or anything. See if we can get a fast drop here. Oh, okay. Fast drops are like little quick animation drops that you can get. They're very minuscule time saves, but they're cool to get sometimes. Evie loves to slow us down to a snail's pace. She actually can't move. Alright, thanks. Appreciate it, everyone. We need to grab this fuse here. I'm going to drop this fuse in over here. Alright, now we're going to do the tape. Now the tape is where all the skips are. This is where basically every other tape in the game is skippable except for this one. This one is mandatory. Because it sets up for the next part of the game in terms of like puzzle solving and stuff. Basically what's going to happen here is we're going to meet Alan. Alan is the shortest lived character in the game, I'm pretty sure. Aside from the cop, maybe. Everybody loves Alan. Everyone loves Alan. He's actually just such a lame character, to be honest. Alan's just so weird. He has like 6 lines of dialogue. He's just like, hey, she got me. My bad. And then later, he dies. That's like basically all Alan does. But we skip the calls because we don't like talking to Alan. Those are the 2 big skips on this, Alan 1 and Alan 2, are skipping Alan's phone calls because he just loves to talk and we don't get it. So we're going to get around that. Now, normally to skip the Alan 1 call for like marathon safety purposes, I'd pick up the shoes. But since we're already doing the Zoe route, we're a minute slow. 15 or 10 to 12 seconds is actually not a huge deal. And I'm pretty confident I'll do it without it. So the idea is to trigger a call and get to skip a call by triggering something and getting out of the room before the trigger actually completes. Getting the shoes guarantees it to be as easy as possible. It's optimal to do it without the shoes because the shoes it takes like 2 seconds to get the shoes, but we're gonna man up and do it without them, and we are hopefully going to get it. If we don't get it, you can all laugh at me as we sit there and we listen to Alan talk. And we got it. Woo, okay, cool. Don't have to listen to Alan, guys. We're fine. Now the next part is there is a molded that we want to kill in this elevator. If the mold is alive, the elevator won't go down, and that includes its death animation. We want to avoid that, and we're gonna grab our new game plus items out of the box. And the idea is we will shoot the molded. This is a new strat, by the way, kind of harder. So normally what we would do there, that's a hard one to do because you have to hit 2 precise shots, but we did it, so that's cool. You can get behind the molded to saw his leg so he dies fast. You can also do the same method by shooting him twice, which is what we just did, which is faster. But it's harder because we missed the shot. It becomes difficult to actually kill him. And now we're going to do the spookier one, in my opinion, which is the Alan 2 skip, or the double D skip for double doors, or dust and distortion, however you want to say it. Dust and distortion, I think, were the ones that found it. Basically, there's another Alan call coming up, and because we just hate Alan so much, we would rather blow ourselves up with a bomb than actually talk to him. Hello, molded, I can't see the ground. Hey, there's a chance that bomb fails because I couldn't see the ground over the molded's body. So we'll see. We'll see if that actually works or not. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about that one now. So let's see if we actually got it. We need that corrosive to open the store here. Don't want to hit R. We need to keep R not pressed. I've never done this skip without being able to see the ground to drop the bomb, so let's hope it works. If we mess it up, a couple bad things can happen. We could get put into danger, which is pretty monk-esque, or we could fail to skip a little bit and lose a little bit of time. It's pretty close, though, I think. Alright, and we got it. Whew, okay, that was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. Got through the doors, I haven't listened to Alan talk, because we usually can't go through those doors if Alan's talking. That's the point of that skip. But we got it. Which is perfect. So we got all the skips, which is actually super hype. Getting all those skips first try is actually so hype. I got cheap shot for his bed. Doesn't really change anything. Blow up that bomb. Gotta wait for the elevator. You just hate waiting for elevators, guys. There's another out of bounds here that you can do. It doesn't actually get us anything yet that we've learned, but there is one that's here. Now we are going to finish up the Mia tape in like a minute here. Oh, let me up. Yeah, 360 no scope is molded. And we're gonna walk through here. Now, if there's any other donations, we have another cutscene here. It's gonna last a little bit, where we all get to watch Alan die. What an impactful character.
I have no new donations, but I will take this time to plug the next bid war we have coming up here. Is for Silent Hill Homecoming. It's Alex's costume. Currently, Invisible is winning with an uncontested $26.
So are you able to tell me what the totals were for the Mia and Zoe?
The totals for the Mia and Zoe were $100 for Mia and $110 for Zoe.
That's that's $210, guys. You're all so sick. Thanks for the donations to this dope cause. Yeah, so Alan dies. He called Evie a bad word and then he died. So if that tells you anything, don't call Evie bad words. Alright. Now the tape is actually going to end, and we get our only skippable cutscene ever. And it's the coolest cutscene. How lame. Basically, you get to see the whole ship explode and a bunch of stuff happen. It's really awesome. We don't get to watch it. We're just gonna skip it. Skip movie, quote unquote. Now the idea after that is that you play the tape, you know where everything is, go and get where everything is so that you can go to the basement. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna go try and save Ethan. Yeah, that one's kind of spooky, by the way. There's a little jump scare there. Forgot to warn you guys about that one. So basically what we need is we need a fuse and we need a powered cable to get the elevator working again. Alright. So we need to get the lug wrench. We're gonna pop open a few things. There is one skip, I guess if you want to call it, called the God Door, as it's been dubbed in the Resident Evil 7 community. The God Door is a door later, obviously, that we try to get in and out of before it closes, because it'll close automatically and lock you in for like, it's literally a 1 second time loss if you don't get it. But it's 1 second time save. And it's not like hard per se, it's like time sensitive. You have to get close to the door, get in, get out really fast. So that's what we're about to go and try and do right now. Grab this knife. Ooh, and that's God Door. In and out before it closes. That's what we want. I'm going to pick up that bomb there because I'm going to use that in a second. Blow that guy up. $5 if I get God Door. I just got God Door. So. Alright, now we need to go get the power fuse, which is just up these ladders basically. We have to go around a fat molded, not get hit and stuff like that. There's a little crawler molded here on the ground. It's like a half-body molded. We just get to avoid because of the way animations work in this game, so we're just going to trigger this corrosive on the door and ignore the fact that he's right underneath us. Just walk right past him. He tries his best, he really does, but we don't really have to care about him. Scenery in this game is amazing, by the way. Wish I could stare at it longer, but gotta save the time, you know what I'm saying? Go for this. We hear a fat molded behind us. The vomit's going through the walls, but it can't hit us because programming is hard. Now we got what we need. Now we're going to go downstairs to save Ethan. Which is pretty pog champ, if you ask me. Oh, got stuck on the door there. Dropped it in the wrong inventory there for a second. Got a little elevator right here, so you do have time for a donation if there is one.
We do have a donation from TRSCP, paying up like they said they were going to. His comment says, "Good job, Captain Ezekiel on God Door. Donation to Runner's Choice." I am not sure if we can actually do Runner's Choice things. I'm asking about that right now. If we can, what is your choice?
I have no idea. They get towards like a bit, like a bet thing.
Like a bid war or an incentives.
I see. Well, if I did have my choice, it would be the no costume Alex.
The Invisible Alex.
Invisible Alex, yeah. All right, and that's the end of Mia basically. Now we're going to do the second to last retry. This one right here. And now we just sit through another longish cutscene where basically Ethan gets to, you finally get to actually see the real Jack Baker sit here and talk. This cutscene's actually like really sad. On like your first playthrough, like you're just sitting here. The lantern is supposed to represent Marge. Also, look at the shadows on the wall. It doesn't make any sense. It's just Jack's head. His torso isn't there, but we're not going to talk about that one. But Jack basically explains, like, hey, this wasn't our fault. We saved this little girl, and then she took control of us. None of us are evil. Jack, if you played, there's a DLC called Daughters. The Daughters DLC is so... It's actually so weirdly sad when you first play it, because, like, you see how it starts. It's all... Like, you just see the Baker family in their house. Everything's perfectly fine. They're just normal people. Marguerite is super nice. Jack is super nice. And you're just like, this is awesome. And then you watch, like, Evie take control of them, and it's just depressing. It is so sad. But it's a great DLC. And there's his floating head again. Yeah, Jack is definitely Babble Thump for sure. But then after this cutscene, we get what we all came here for, the Mia 3 fight, which we get after saving Zoe. We don't get an axe for this one, we get a crowbar. And we are going to kill Mia as fast as possible. I don't know if there's an optimal way to do this. No idea. But I'm going to do what I do best and hit her with the item. He's a sweet old man. He's not even that old. I think he's like in his 50s or something, or at the, like the latest. I don't think he's like in his 60s yet. Oh, he might be actually in his 60s. I don't know. Mia 3 hype. Yeah, Mia 3. We finally get the fight. Mia 3. Did Evie make them meet the fantastic meal at the start of the game? Basically, yes. You're all controlled by Evie. That's what she does. Basically, Jack just asks you to save his family. He's like, please get us out of this nightmare. It's like, okay. None of the Baker families, like, other than... So, there's a DLC called The End of Zoe, which is amazing DLC. You play as Joe Baker, who punches molded to death and eats bugs. It's amazing. But Joe Baker and Zoe Baker do survive in the canon version of the game. Alright. Usually what would happen is we'd get out of this mold and Mia would shove us through the door and be like, go do what you do best. But what's actually going to happen is she's going to shove us away from the door and make us fight her. There's a crowbar to our left we're going to grab. I'm just trying to hit her as much as possible. I think that's it. Yeah. The fight is really straightforward like the other two. You want to hit her in those hitboxes with the high frame rate as much as possible. That's why I crouch by her feet so I get more hitboxes out. And that's the Mia 3 fight. It's actually also kind of sad. It's been a while since I've seen this cutscene. Rip Mia. I definitely hardly knew her. Now, what this changes at the very end of the game, it's kind of a cutscene we don't really see, but when the game ends on the canon version, you fly away in a helicopter with Mia. This time, when you fly away in the helicopter, it's just Ethan alone. Sad, I would presume. And all these fish are taking a nap. They're not dead. Don't worry about it. They're all really tired. And you're here missing Grandma again. Well, you're in luck. We will see Grandma again. Don't you worry. So there was an optimization that was found a few months ago where we, normally what we would do coming up here is we would grab all the items out of the item box right here. But the thing is we don't need to do that anymore. We found that you could just grab this. So what the scary part about this is we only grab the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, rather. We only have one shot. Something mom spaghetti. But we have this one shot, and we need to save it for a tripwire and a crawler molding. What? Oh no! Oh, hold on. We have a situation. I've never seen that happen before. It's never ever happened to me before. Please hit the button. Please hit the button, Ethan. This is a problem. I've never seen them walk into the elevator before. I've never seen them do that ever. That's like one of those, like, this hasn't happened before things. Out of my 2.5 years of running this game, I have never seen the molded run in to the elevator. Alright, now what we need to use this shot for is we need to kill this crawler molded and the bomb. Right here. Easy peasy. I took some damage, so I need to not get hit, by the way, so I don't go into danger. Danger is slow mode. We don't want to be hit into danger. The idea is we're running through these mines here, and we're going to go and get the serum, or rather the neurotoxin, not serum, to kill Evelyn. Basically all we need to do. It just sounds easy, right? Just go get the bad guy juice and kill the bad guy. But because we don't have ammo, I can't shoot this bomb that's up here. I have to block it. Which is fine. Not too much damage. Now we need to pull the items out of the item box while we're making the neurotoxin. We get time for that, thankfully. While the neurotoxin is being made, this is where we save that like 3 seconds of time. Ooh, got stuck. Alright. Yeah, there we got that. Alright, now we have our infinite ammo. Which is pretty pog champ. Because now, we get to finish off the game in style, basically. We're not quite yet done. There's a couple things we have left to do. Like kill Evelyn. We have to find Evelyn. Now we're coming up on the last retry of the game. This is the best retry of the game. It saves so much time. Like, look how slow Ethan's about to be going up these mines. Like, this is Ethan's speed. He's pretty slow, and we don't want to be that slow. So we're going to retry here, and Ethan's running value is going to get set so high. He just zooms right through this. It's crazy, actually. The idea is to get through this gauntlet of molded without getting hit. We're zooming. We don't want to get hit. The idea is to get through it nice and cleanly without getting stopped for any reason. Alright, and that's basically it through the mines. The mines they're pretty straightforward. They're not like too difficult. And then we have to shoot this last neurotoxin shot at these two fat molded that we would otherwise have to fight. But the neurotoxin pretty much stops it from moving. It's moving at all, really. So we just get to climb up the ladder for free. If I had missed that shot, they would shoot me off this ladder with their like vomit. Now we're coming up on the end of the game shortly. We still got a couple minutes left here.
With only a couple minutes left here, that means we are running out of time to get our costume choice bids in for Silent Hill Homecoming. We will be closing that during the intermission. Currently, Invisible is still uncontested with $31.
Okay, so this is actually a little worrisome. So because I got hit as much as I did, my health is like on caution right now. The last Eevee fight is pretty easy, except I need to block a Wind Blast, and then I need to inject Eevee as she's doing the second Wind Blast. If I fail that, and it's a really close timing, I will probably die, realistically speaking. We don't want that. So the idea is Eevee's gonna be upstairs, and we need to inject her. She's gonna knock us back once, we have to block that one. We have to get as close to her as possible. And as she starts doing the second big Wind Blast, we have to get the inject off, or boy, does it get scary fast. We're going to run around and talk to Eevee one more time here. We're telling her we're not messing around. Alright, now I'm going to be quiet again while I focus on this. I don't want to mess this up. There's Ghost Mia. We don't care about Ghost Mia. Oh. Alright, I didn't get close enough. I didn't get close enough for it, but I did frame perfect block the blast somehow, and I guess we'll take it. I wasn't close enough for the injection on the second blast, but I did perfect block it. I don't know how it happened, but we'll take it. And spoiler alert, Eevee was grandma the whole time. Now we're coming to the last boss fights of the game. These last two fights are actually like crazy pushover. They're actually really easy. There's not much to be done here. All we do is we kind of sit here, hold the saw. Normally, if you got close to Eevee while she's in this form, she would just one-shot you. But because we're hitting her with the saw, we're like stun-locking her in a sense. And she gets upset, slaps us off. Alright, now we're basically sitting here and do nothing, right? We have to wait so that we have the Albert right here. You can clearly see we have the Albert in our hands. It's right here, but we can't kill her with it. It doesn't work. We have to wait till Chris Redfield gives us a special Albert to kill her with. Because reasons. Just throw the circular saw. I'm trying. It won't reach. Take it. She's going to pick us up, and we're going to saw off her arm. Because it's OP. Now we want to shoot. It takes 3 shots to Evie's face to kill her, but she blocked one of them, so 4 shots and she dies. I will tell you when time is. It's not going to be when she dies. It'll be actually a little bit after. But I will let you know when time is. So not quite yet. 4 shots is what we're looking for here. 3, 4. Yeah, that's the game. That was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard 80%, new game plus PC easy. Zoe percent, actually. That was the Zoe percent category. And we're just waiting. Time to wait when screen goes black, so I'll just let you know in a minute. And time. So, what was the real time?
I believe it was called a little bit early on our end. I think it's just about 1:30.
All right, 1:30. We go by the in-game timer with RE7, so it's actually 1:29:11, which is not bad. We added a minute for a little over a minute for the Zoe category, so not a bad run altogether when you're doing Zoe percent. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was great.